All right, so let's talk about something. Let me just grab some water here first to get me started, getting my voice up. So, the 2026 World Cup, the Soccer Cup, has concluded recently. And there was one player that stuck out to me a little bit, but not for the reasons perhaps that most people wanted him to. Excuse me. Not so much for his soccer talent or his soccer abilities, but more because of something that was said about him. Now, to be clear here, let's just emphasize this right away. I'm not saying that the person involved said these things. These were things that were said about him in the media and other places. But I didn't see the person involved pushing back against these claims. So for all I know, he may secretly be accepting them. That's number one. Number two is it was a little bit awkward what he did, which let's just say it wasn't very persuasive. Anyway, so I'll tell the whole thing and you can judge for yourself. Basically, this guy was touted as being the next great icon of his country. I'm not gonna name the name because I'm not gonna I'm not gonna speak about him or his rumors in a positive way in that regard. So that's why I refuse to name people that way because I find it to be quite low ball really and low class. However, this fellow was being portrayed as sort of like the symbol of poverty. How some young kid from the streets could rise to prominence and then become an integral part of the world's biggest stage. Supposedly and allegedly, he was being sent to the European clubs at age 17, which meant that he lost connection entirely. Or probably not entirely, but he lost a great deal of connection with his native country, the community, the culture there, and of course the fans. However, the biggest change, really, physical change and also mental change, I'd say, came after his team got eliminated from the Soccer World Cup because he underwent some double chin surgery. Just like me, he had a double chin. And then he underwent surgery to remove the double chin, which is fine if you have money for it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing it. I'm not saying that that makes him a bad person at all. In fact, maybe I'll do it myself one day. I don't really know. But here's what I do know. And so, by the way, I saw some photos before and after. He looked like a completely different person. His jawline was more chiseled, more defined. His face overall was more angular. He looked good. Not gonna lie, he looked good. Looked like some sort of a superhero from some sort of a movie. Now, if you're poor, if you're oppressed, if you don't have much money, you have no money to do these sort of surgeries. That doesn't exactly ring well with, or that doesn't exactly rhyme with being some poor kid from the streets. If you can afford these sorts of surgeries. Now, again, I'm not saying that this person, that this individual himself portrayed himself as being some poor kid from the streets. I'm just saying that others did, and he didn't push back on that. So that means sort of like a silent acceptance on his part. And from a persuasion perspective, now he's sort of like losing his soul. Now he's sort of like losing ground because now he's no longer, well, first and foremost, he's no longer poor. Number two, you can't exactly intermingle with the poor and say that, look, I'm from the streets like just one of you, but I actually could afford to fix my chin. That's not exactly how things work. I'm also hearing other reports of other players from the same national team spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on luxury items. I'm not saying that those were being portrayed as being poor either. I'm just saying that that's from where they're from. That's sort of like notorious. Everyone is poor until they make it in soccer. Again, that's fine. Not saying that there is anything bad about it. I'm just saying that if you choose to be if you choose to represent the poor and the average person on the street and those who'll never who'll quote unquote never make it, and then you go ahead and you buy luxury watches for millions of dollars and you do a chin surgery, then you're sort of like losing touch and you're not as persuasive anymore, especially when it comes to representing the poor and the oppressed. Just think about it. This this is this is sort of like a fat person saying that, look, you need to lose weight and I'm going to teach you how. Nobody believes a fat person could help anybody lose weight because they're fat themselves. Think about that. That's the persuasion lesson for the day. If you want to learn more about sales persuasion in business, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you're watching or listening to this, and I'll see you there.